What is up, folks, and I welcome each and every one of you to a peaceful, competitive Pokemon discussion video. Briefly, folks, I just wish to share with you some information that has been made known to me. I'm sure many of you who have been in the competitive community for many years will have known about this beforehand, but nonetheless, just a heads up before we get started. This will be a short and sweet video and some valuable information that you could use to boost your own knowledge. So there will not be many flying images and shiny objects going across the screen. Sit back, relax, and just listen to my soothing voice. Folks, the thing I wanted to share with you is that did you know that even though tier shifts only happen every 3 months, it seems that the Pokemon community, at least those running the scene behind the shadows, they release trends and stats monthly, just to let the community know what is happening. There's information out there that tells you which Pokemon are on the rise and you need to look out for, and which Pokemon are falling off to the wayside. As we can see in the month of November, December, in overuse, Araquanid is being used quite often, 5.59% on teams. And if I remember correctly, if a Pokemon is used more than 4.53% of the time, it will jump to that tier. So Araquanid could have found itself in the overuse tier if we had monthly metagame shifts. So interestingly enough, Deoxys Speed looks like it's heading towards a trend where it will fall back down to the UU tier. Mamoswine is going to get booted to the RU tier since its percentage use in underused tier is so low. And Torkoal seeming to shift to the never used tier because its percentage use is so low. And some things to take note of, Weavile in underused is not being used as often. People were originally thinking this Pokemon might be broken, myself included, but the metagame has adapted to Weavile's Ice Stab and knockoff shenanigans. So now that we know how to handle it in unused, less people are using it. As such, it has dropped the ball, quite tremendously I might add. I will leave a link to all the information we will discuss here in the description of the video as well if you want to give it a read yourself, but rather have some audible and visual stimulation than read some boring paragraph on the metagame trends. I didn't know they post monthly usage stats for every tier. This allows you to find out how the metagame is developing. What are people mostly using and leaning towards? As you can see in the unused tier, Excadrill is number 1, Tornadus tier number 2, Lokix number 3 is a big surprise, Poltegeist at number 20 in usage in the tier. Very interesting information. Also, a side note, I didn't know that Smogon did quick drops. Apparently, if a Pokemon is not used 2.28% of the time, it qualifies to be immediately dropped to the tier below. And Rhyperior has been used so infrequently in underuse that it has dropped. As you can see on Pokemon Showdown, this has already been implemented and you can currently use Rhyperior in rarely used, and for people who love change, they even include a section where they show you what would have risen and what would have dropped. So you can make predictions and preparations and plans for what may be in the future. But it seems that if tier shifts were to happen, immediately Blissey would go to overused, Pecharunt surprisingly could go to overused, Araquanid would jump all the way from never used to overused, Deoxys Speed will go down to underuse, etc, etc. Other Pokemon that you might want to pay special attention to is Mamoswine and Metagross, dropping to the rarely used tier. I think this is going to be the lowest placement for Mamoswine ever. In a tier where Weavile exists, I don't think Mamoswine has a purpose in place. So there we have it, folks. A short and sweet video on some interesting information. If you did enjoy this video and you found the information to be useful, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We will be doing a lot more of these. But nonetheless, folks, we'll be U-turning out. Thanks for watching.